Fiction Fairy, and today I am just bringing you a bit of chit chat. So if chit chat is not really your thing and this is not the type of video that you like, then feel free to go ahead and exit out and see if there might be some other videos that you would like to watch. If chit chat is something that you enjoy, then you have come to the right place because I am here to chit and to chat. So today I want to chit chat about how do I choose the books that I'm going to purchase. I've gotten a ton of questions about this and a ton of questions because people see the books behind me and they just want to know, how do you pick which books that you're going to pick? You have a lot of arcs, like how do you just make your decision? So I just kind of wanted to touch on that a little bit. First things first, we'll go over my arcs, which are advanced readers copies, and they're basically just they're finished, but they're uncorrected books that haven't been released yet. And then I also get finished copies of those books from the publishers too. So usually if you look behind me, the ones from Harper, and by Harper I mean Harper, Green Willow, Balzer and Bray, Harper Teen, all their imprints, they usually have a red band on the spine, and that's how you can usually identify the ones from Harper that are arcs. Not all the publishers have that. Some of them just have the year that they are for the arc, 2011, 2012, 2013, etc. on the side, but Harper's are the ones that are most identifiable because of the red band. So that's usually what you guys are seeing behind me, is some books that have the red band, and those ones are from Harper, and those are advanced readers copies. Now, like I said, I do get some finished copies from the publishers too. Sometimes I'll get the arc and I'll get the finished copy. Sometimes I will get just the finished copy, and sometimes I'll get just the arc. And I started receiving those books mid-2010. I started my blog. It's called The Fiction Fairy, so if you guys haven't been there yet, you totally should go check it out. But I started my blog in 2010, and I was just able to establish some really great relationships with some different publishers, publishing houses, and some authors. And from that point on, I was just able to get advanced reader copies sent to me, which I totally and completely appreciate from them. I also get arcs from NetGalley, which are e-arcs that are online, and you just click which books you would like to read, and the publishers will approve you on NetGalley, or there's some publishers who just auto-approve you because you've read so many of their arcs and done the reviews on them that they just auto-approve you. And it's the same thing with Edelweiss. That is also an e-arc site. And you can look through all the publishers' catalogs, and then you make up a profile, and you can apply to get an arc of their book, an e-copy, and they will either approve you or deny you. And there are some that also just auto-approve you because you've read so many of their books before too. So that's how I get those ones. The remaining of my books, I know I'm going to get so many like bad, and dislikes and rolling of the eyes and side eyes, but guys, really, I choose them off of the cover. I love a good cover. I mean, I'm just a sucker for it. And a beautiful cover will get me every single time. Now, have I been burned by buying books that have pretty covers and they have been not the best book on the inside? Absolutely. But that is the risk that I continue to take and that I'm willing to take because I just love covers so much. I know everybody acts like it's like a big dark secret and it's just so taboo, but to be honest with you, if I were to look through every synopsis on Goodreads and every back of a book at Barnes & Noble and every synopsis on Amazon or Book Depository or Book Outlet, you would spend more hours than you do regularly just going through it, and that's why they don't just put synopsis on Amazon. They put the picture of the book because that's what draws you in. That's why when you go to Barnes & Noble's, they have the books facing forward that they want you to kind of like be drawn to, not just the spine sticking out, because you're naturally going to look at the cover, and that's what's going to draw you in. And then if you like the cover, you'll either buy it just purely based off the cover, or you'll look at the cover, love it, turn it over to the back, read it, and say, oh wow, this sounds like a great book and a great cover. I'm totally going to buy it. This has a great cover, but it doesn't sound so great, but I'm still going to buy it because I love the cover. Or the cover's pretty, but it doesn't sound like it's for me, and you leave it there. But ultimately, it's the cover that draws you in. Like everything else in life, your eyes are what draw you to it. In a restaurant, they just don't tell you that's pasta with meatballs. They have a picture next to it. They try to draw you into their specials that they're having through the picture, because that's just what we do. And honestly, that's just what I do. It's my number one way of picking books is purely based off the cover. I love covers, and that is how I choose all the books I have on my shelf. The second way that I choose my books is through recommendations, watching BookTube, watching reviews, looking at Goodreads. That's how I will pick a lot of the books that I have too. I look at, a lot of people that you watch on BookTube, like Giselle from, oh my gosh, Book Nerd Canada, sorry. I look at her blog, which she has, and it is so good. And I also look at her videos, and she does fantastic recommendations. I absolutely love them. Bookish and Nerdy, she does fantastic recommendations. Just everybody on BookTube. Bookables has recommendations, Caddytastic has recommendations. There's just a lot of people who have different recommendations out there that I'll, go through when they put something up and see, like, oh wow, it sounds really good. Because sometimes there are books that I'm like, I would not have wanted to pick it up otherwise, but they did such a good overview of it, and they were so amped about it that it really made me want to go pick it up. Giselle is really good at that. There's books that she'll be reading off the synopsis, or she'll be saying how she felt about the book, or she does these mini wrap-ups of all dystopians or all contemporary books, that she thinks that people should go out there and pick up, and it will really pull me in to be like, oh wow, I totally discredited that book, but now I really want to go ahead and get that book. So she's really, really good for that. But that's pretty much the second way that I go ahead and get it. And the third way that I get it is, on a rare occasion, it really is because I do read the synopsis and it just sounds really good. Usually that is not something that happens, but there are some books that I just randomly just pick up when I'm out, maybe at the bargain bookstore or something. I'll just grab it, turn it over, and it will just grab my attention. Maybe I'm waiting on my husband to get something, or I'm waiting on my sister to get something. I just pick up the book that's in front of me, read the back of it, and it sounds good, and I go ahead and pick it up. But that's a rarity. So those are the three ways that I really pick my books: by cover, by recommendation, and sometimes by the synopsis, randomly, to go ahead and just pick them up. And I don't really feel bad for the way that I choose my books. You definitely, when you choose it by covers, you end up buying a lot more books, I think, than you usually would have if you read the back of the books right away. But again, I know some people shame themselves about buying so many books, and you definitely have to have a grasp on things, and I kind of should get a grasp on my book buying. But at the same time, we're a lover and collector of books, and it just is what it is. If I collected stamps, nobody would think anything of it if I had a box of 1,000 stamps. But we have all these books and you haven't read them, people look at you like you're batty. But it's a collection, it's a love, and they're beautiful, and you will get around to reading them one day. And the cover, to me, is what makes you come back and want to read them. If you picked an ugly cover, then 6 months down the line, you're like, ugh, I don't even want this book, because you don't remember what it was about and the cover's ugly. But when I'm looking for something to read and I come into my shelf and I'm like, I don't know, I'm in the mood for it, and then a beautiful cover, grabs my eye, and I'm like, oh yeah, that one. I'm in the mood for something bright green, and it just reminds me of spring or summertime. Then I'm ready to go ahead and grab that book. So let me know in the comments below, guys, how do you choose your books? Is it by cover? Are you with me? Are you one of those taboo people who choose by cover? Are you a person who always reads the back of the books, who always reads the synopsis to find out if you're going to like it or not? Are you somebody who is solely based on recommendations? Whatever somebody who you enjoy watching videos or reading their blog likes, you pick your books based off of that? Or are you somebody who buys books just based off of automatically the author? Some people have certain authors that they buy whatever they come out with, no matter what. I don't particularly have any authors who are like that yet. I hope one day to have an author that I just buy whatever it is that they write, but right now I don't have one of those, but I know that some people do. Jennifer R. Armentrout seems to be one of the big ones, that whatever she writes, there's certain people that they will pick up anything. Sarah Dessen's another one where whatever she writes, they'll pick that up, and it doesn't matter what it is. So let me know how you guys choose your books below, so I can see if there's a variance, if there's a difference, and see are we mostly the same, or are we very different in the way that we happen to choose the types of books that we go ahead and we pick. Thanks so much, guys, for coming by the Fiction Fairy today and having a little bit of a chit chat with me.